Welcome back to HRO, presented by AOC. Adonis here, joined by Nathan Mendez. We're going to be bringing you the action for Paladins today. Alongside that, we will have the SMITE Regional Championships later today. That's going to be hard starting at 1 p.m. But Nathan, how you doing today? First time on the call with me.
I'm great. I'm excited actually to do this. We had that one time beforehand.
The one time beforehand. The really hot room that we practiced in that I almost died. It's okay though. We recovered.
You know what? It's just character building. We were able to get in there.
It was the bonding.
It was the bonding, like you said, and we were just able to say, yep, we're perfect, we're ready for casting, got that synergy, we're good to go.
Anyways, guys, we do have the Paladins Regional Championships here today. Again, we have two top teams, Abyss and Avant-Garde. They've played through a number of weeks, a 5-week league, 6 teams playing each other in a round-robin format, 5,000 prize pool, and we've got the top 2 here live in Sydney, Australia. Winning team will win a big chunk of change as well as a chance to go and compete at Hi-Rez Expo. That's going to be January in Atlanta in the United States. $150,000 on the line there.
Absolutely high stakes at the moment, especially as these guys really want to make their mark in the Oceania community for Paladins. These guys are ready to say, yes, we're here, we're ready to play, we're ready to, there's a new emerging esport that's just grown so huge at the moment.
Yeah, I mean, Paladins has been doing great. You know, we started actually just in a closet room a couple months ago, a few casters, and we have a great set over at Hi-Rez now, and we're able to come and bring you the action here. Again, though, guys, Abyss going to be taking on Avant today, and this is a pretty interesting storyline, I think, between the two. Abyss, throughout the regular season, incredibly dominant. And when I say incredibly dominant, I mean, I don't think I've ever seen a competition be so one-sided. This team did not drop a single point. Not a game, not a map, a single point in the regular season.
Absolutely unheard of. These guys are an unstoppable force to deal with, to be reckoning with, and reason for that is because they're an experienced team. These guys have been moving from game to game, really know how to adapt to what they have to do. I mean, recently making swap from Overwatch to Paladin, so these guys are experienced. They have had a lot of success in other games, and it's all about that experience.
And Avant too, their opponents here, they took second throughout the regular season. You could see 4 wins, 1 loss. Obviously, the only loss going to Abyss. The only ones who were actually even able to, you know, put up some competition against Abyss. Now, again, they haven't taken a point in the regular season, but there was a tournament recently, the EV's Winter Classic, and actually they did manage to maybe not make them bleed, but they scratched them. They got a point or 2, and so the question here is, you know, how much of the gap has been closed by Avant. You know, they've had a month since the end of the regular season. Obviously, they've had time to review VODs, to practice and train, and Abyss are the kings here, I think. I think this is the expected winners, but at the same time, because the game, you know, hasn't really been out for a long time, I think we're seeing big gaps and just individual player skill over a short period of time.
Yeah, Abyss really like to move around the map. They play as heavy mobile champions, move around saying, okay, what we'll do is we'll pull everyone apart, force a 2v1 on one side of the area, and the moment they do that, the moment they split up the enemy team, they instantly move on to the objective point and just divide and conquer from that point on. And it's really hard to deal with because the meta has been shifting around this death ball meta where they go, we have a lot of heavy tanks, a lot of heavy sustain as well. And as we can see, we've got the team lineups available at the moment as well. We've got Chronic X as DPS, John Kent also as DPS, you got Hades as the front line and captain of the team, Alston also as DPS, and Joel Z as DPS. And these guys,
you may not, as you were just mentioning, kind of that death ball meta where Paladins evolved into be, you know, that double frontline style, you know, with a healer and then kind of some DPS. These guys just, it's raw individual mechanical skill. They were actually started as an Overwatch team just a couple months ago, one of the best in Australia, and they actually made the switch to Paladins, and they've really just been running the show here. These guys are incredibly experienced, and just, it really comes down to, I think, their individual mechanics. Each member of that roster is so phenomenal. Just look at these plays from Josh Kin. I mean, their style is just centered around, we are going to beat you one-on-one, right? Isolate out these players. No one's even looking at Josh Kent in the back line. His Androxus play has just been so good. Chronix as well here on the Cassie, you know, just, it's all about finding and picking off those players one at a time.
As you can see, once they've actually managed to do that, they just sort of all move towards that point, get control from it, and then they begin to split up again once they manage to turn it into that payload situation. So when they decide to push forward from that point on, they split up again, they've got their initial tank and 1 DPS sort of holding the line there, and every single time the opponent or the enemy team tries to make a move, they immediately take them out.
It's distraction. That's kind of the style of the run, like you mentioned, right? Just split up, just cause confusion on the map. And actually, you were talking to Abyss, you mentioned to me earlier, one of the biggest weaknesses or one of the biggest differences here is Avant don't really run a lot of hit scan champions. They run kind of projectile champions. And so that doesn't really work against the style that Abyss run, where it's all about mobility and splitting up. And the projectiles, which are very good at, against the death ball, the meta compositions, because it's very easy to hit those big characters and the giant shields, doesn't pay off here.
Absolutely right. And we also have the lineup available for Avant-Garde as well. We've got Corland on DPS, Joey G as DPS, we've got Lionberg, he's the flex/captain, so likes to change it up a little bit in terms of the champions he's using. Soj GG is also the front line, and Akmo as support. And I do want to touch quickly on Corland as well. This guy recently came into the season just towards the end of the regular split, decided to jump in there and say, yep, I'm here for you guys. He's been an absolute lifesaver for the team, and just really merging well and meshing well with the rest of them.
And like and like we were talking about earlier as well, Avant-Garde, it's in the month span, how much have they gotten better, right? Have they gotten to the level of Abyss? And Corland gives you kind of an idea that there's a pretty good possibility that they've made big strides in their individual and team gameplay. He came in at the last couple weeks, and so he didn't really have the synergy with the rest of his team. And now I think with a lot of practice and training, it could be a little bit different here.
That's absolutely right. And we can see some of the highlights available for us for Avant-Garde at the moment. And we do have them just sort of getting towards this choke point. A nice dodge roll coming through. And just as you can see, just so confident with their play. Even when they're getting phased by the tanks, they're just immediately going for the kills.
And you can see it's just kind of all about that mobility, moving around, playing around their front lines as well. This Maldamba pick now, this is interesting. Maldamba, obviously a new champion in Paladins, and Lionberg in the last couple weeks kind of picked up him and has just been doing such a great job, really utilizing the stun on his weapon, and it creates a dynamic where there's no real CC immunity in Paladins, right? You can get cards like Resilience, but it's not that guaranteed, like, all right, I'm not going to get stunned here. And so, finding those stuns, finding any form to lock players down, and just having your team pile on them, maybe something Abyss isn't prepared for.
Yeah, and one of the things as well Maldamba, why he's such probably a more prominent pick coming into this competition is Ying copped a little bit of a nerf coming into this. Maldamba sort of rising up a bit more in terms of he is the highest damaging support that is available to you. If you look at the Grovers, he's got his axes and they do really well from range, but it's not consistent damage. They're quite easy to dodge. So Maldamba probably going to be the one to get out there with more aggressive picks. Yeah,
I think Maldamba is going to be pretty high up in this pick band, but we do have the maps ready for you as well. Just to let you guys know, Abyss, they started off by banning Serpent Beach. Avant then went on to ban Frozen Guard, and then the first map pick coming out of Abyss was Frog Isle.
Mm-hmm. And what I really like about Frog Isle is a little bit of a hazard point as well. So these champions like Bomb King, like Makoa, can actually use that to their advantage and either hook them off or just knock them straight away into that hazard point. And that is just an easy kill available for the team.
And then the second map going to be Jaguar Falls, and then the loser of Game 2 will get to pick Game 3's map, and it'll be the loser continues to pick the map here if we do make it all 5 games. Starting off though in Jaguar Falls, this is going to be an interesting one, or excuse me, not Jaguar Falls, but Frog Isle. It's going to be an interesting one because it's one of the few maps that has that heavy hazard kind of deal going on. A lot of knockbacks. Cassie kind of rises in priority, and is specifically Makoa rise in priority. We normally see Fernando be that first pick, just kind of that all-around front line that can basically do everything, doesn't really have any weaknesses. Makoa's good as well, but the big thing about him is that hook and the potential to just be throwing players off the map.
Yeah, as soon as they come through, a nice little shot off to sort of get that extra bit of knockback, and as soon as they're off the map, that's it. They're gone. There is no way you can come back from it. Maybe you have an ability to sort of get yourself back in, the Slither from Maldamba, or maybe the Vomit from Grover, something sort of get you there. But once you're off the edge, you're pretty much gone, and that allows them to really push forward. It is a fairly small map in comparison to some of the others out there available at the moment as well, so you can expect a lot of action coming right off the bat.
I'm actually really excited to see if we'll see any other interesting map picks. I think the big two are Ice Mines as well as, Timbermill. Timbermill, a lot of the meta and draft actually starts forming around Kinessa, who's not really seen outside of that map, just the big open areas. And then on Ice Mine as well, because it's such a big map, the opposite of Frog Isle, Master Riding starts to come into play, needing that bonus mount speed and kind of being able to just win one big fight basically secures you points on that map.
Yeah, and it's really good for like champions like Barak as well, who likes to take that master riding skill, get there as soon as possible, and get his setup going. Because once he gets that momentum, he's almost unstoppable, really, when he does pick up the payload.
Well, we still have a game to play, guys, and we're going to throw it over to Sandman on stage with an interview with the teams.
Thanks, Adonis. Yes, I am up here with Lionberg and Hayes from Avantgarde and Abyss. Mate, I'm going to start with you. Firstly, this is the first time we've seen a Paladins competition up on stage here in Australia. How are the guys feeling?
Yeah, really confident going into this. We're undefeated so far, and we're really hoping to keep that run going.
What made you decide to switch from alternate games over to Paladins? What was it about it that drew you to this game?
Well, really, we just love all video games. We're actually playing both at the same time. We competed in the other finals for all the other games as well. And Paladins are just a great game, so we're playing it as well. That's basically how it worked.
Fair enough, fair enough. Playing all of the things. Lionberg, when I met you many years ago, you were in management. You love esports. You've been involved for ages. What brought you back? Why are you playing here on stage today? What's the deal?
Well, look, yeah, I've been in management for a while, but I guess deep down I always still loved competing. Paladins is a great game, and I saw an opportunity there to come back, make my mark, and hopefully get on stage, and here we are.
You're here, but you're not all the way through to Hi-Rez Expo yet. This is a big ask going up against the guys from Abyss. Now, as we've heard from the guys on the desk all season long, Abyss have been #1. How much preparation have you guys done to get here today and to hopefully take it to these guys?
Yeah, look, we've been preparing as much as possible, scrimming every night we can, possibly. We had to make a roster change 9 days before LAN with adding Colin in, but thankfully he's been a great addition to our DPS role. We're pretty confident. We've practiced a lot. Yep.
Alrighty, Hayes. Lionberg is confident. How confident are you guys that you're going to go to Hi-Rez Expo?
99.99%.
That's a pretty big call. All right, gentlemen, I might get you guys to shake hands before we get into the action here. Now it's going to be our best of 5 grand final for Paladins, the first time we've seen it here on a stage in Australia. Who is going to be our representative at Hi-Rez Expo and the Paladins $150,000 invitational? Well, gentlemen, on the desk, it's going to be back over to you to find out who the winner will be.
So, Sandman, you're telling me there's a chance. 99.99%. Very, very confident coming out of Abyss, and that's kind of what we were alluding to. This is definitely the favorite team coming in. Even Lionberg mentioned there on stage, they were able to bring in a new DPS just 9 days before the competition, and so maybe Corland will be the player to push them over that edge, to get them past kind of the wall that Abyss has put up against the rest of the teams in Australia.
Well, it really is the wild card as well. Whenever you bring a new player into any sort of team or any sort of esports team, they seem to sort of just bring a little bit of competitive edge that other players don't know how to deal with him. They haven't seen his playstyle completely, and he might have an ace up his sleeve he can really throw at Abyss.
It's also a switch up, right? When you're playing with the same 5 players and you're constantly running into the same issues and issues and issues, it doesn't even matter if the new player coming in is better or worse a lot of times. Sometimes just about having that different perspective, giving the team a fresh feel. Mm-hmm. So you come into this tournament with a new mindset. Hey, we got a new player here. We weren't able to beat them at all in the online stages in the regular season, but maybe with this guy it'll be a little bit different.
And like you said, in the EV Cup recently, they managed to get that scratch off as well.
There
so,
it is.
I mean, if it wasn't for that, probably getting 100% coming across from Abyss there. But now that they've actually managed to lose that point, anything can really happen, especially in LAN as well. It is a completely different ball game.
It is. Yeah, talking about LAN is interesting because there are players who come to LAN and just they play twice as good as they do online, and then there's some players that come to LAN and choke, right? There are players that come and do not perform. They're not in their comfortable situation, and so maybe there's a chance there. Like I said, maybe Abyss won't be too confident on LAN. I don't think that's the case, though. Just hearing them talk about the game and just hearing them talk about the scene and the style they run, I find that very unlikely. And you can see just a quick couple of waves there. Abyss about to get ready to be in game. We've got picks and bans coming up here just shortly.
Can't wait to see what they actually decide to do. I mean, looking at those priority picks that we've got there at the moment, Fernando, he just fits so well into any team composition, so you're probably likely to see him come out first, followed by the Makoa afterwards, because they do like to make sure that they've got their initial front line in place before they start moving towards especially looking at Abyss, their high mobility damage side that they go for. They do like to get their tanks first.
Yeah, at least getting one tank. That's all they really need. That's all they're really looking for is just get that singular front line for Hade so he can be that point controller. Then after that, a lot of times it's just kind of like, all right, what are they picking? You know, what champions are going to be good here? I think they love to run the Eevee. Obviously, Eevee, one of the best flankers in the game right now. Also important to note, she also runs blast damage, and so where most players are picking up that Haven card, no one's really running blast shields, and it makes Eevee very frustrating just to have to deal with that.
She's frustrating to lock down. That girl can move. She's ridiculous.
Oh, it's so brutal.
Back and forth, especially if you do have that wormhole card.
The wormhole card.
You're able actually to blink that location. You think you're in trouble, no worries, I'll blink back. And then we can also double up on the hills there. So she's really hard to lock down, get that initial kill. You need to really catch her off guard to actually find that moment and she's able to catch everyone off guard.
And that works perfect for Abyss's playstyle as well, where it's a lot about mobility and individual skill. You know, Eevee, you're never really going to see an Eevee die if they play it right. They may not always be able to get kills, but it's just that distraction factor and consistent DPS, right? It's not about Eevee's going to, she's going to 100-0 you in an instant, but she is just going to throw those pot shots, you know, utilize the wormhole, go in and out, and if you don't heal up or if you don't deal with it at all, she will eventually kill you. You always have to have that Eevee on your mind. Alongside that, Androxus, one of the other better flankers we have in Paladins.
Yeah, he loves to run around the map, that guy. That never walk is such a useful utility that he has. He's able to get up super close, especially gives him a little bit of heal if you take the right loadouts for your cards as well. So he's able to use these dashes to get in there. If you manage to land your reversal afterwards, this is the general loadout that players like to take. You get an extra dash, extra heal, nice sustain, and he does a decent amount of damage, especially when he gets up close and personal.
We got Buck and Sky kind of coming out and rounding out the flankers as well. We don't really see them too much, especially Sky. Sky typically just not really in the meta. She does a lot of DPS, actually, very good at shredding frontliners, but the issue is just such a squishy god pool, doesn't really have she doesn't really have the opportunity to get out right now. I don't expect to see her too much, but I did hear that Abyss might run her depending on how this set goes. We'll have to see, though.
Well, she is an interesting champion. A lot of her power is inbuilt in the fact that she gets the drop on you. She'll run around, she'll be able to be invisible, and that's how she sort of finds her point to take you out. A big problem with that, though, is if you compare her to those other flankers, the Androxuses, the Eevees, she doesn't have the same level of reliable mobility. She needs to sort of make her way around the map, then go invisible, get into the middle of the team. And if she doesn't really get the kill and deliver on what she needs to do there, she's sort of a sitting duck at that point. And that's why she's not really too good in these ranked 5 competitives, because they can isolate and conquer.
And talking about the supports as well, Ying has been the priority for most of the past couple months, obviously. You know, very mobile, like you said, hard to lock down, similar to Eevee, where she can just drop her illusions, walk away, and it's kind of about that. She doesn't have to put herself in danger to heal, and that's what's most important about her. But she has taken a couple nerfs recently, so we may not see her as heavily prioritized.
Yeah, absolutely right. I think Akmo specifically really does like to play Ying, so I'm not sure if he's going to decide to go, I'm going to be a bit more comfortable, pick her up, make sure that I can just play a solid map, or if he's going to sort of shake it up a little bit, try to see if they can throw Abyss off guard by picking up supports that they're not really used to dealing with.
And then Maldamba, obviously, I think he's going to rise in priority in this one. You know, he got buffs to his healing. You know, Ying running with the nerfs here. Not the most mobile, but he does have a strong immunity in that slither. On top of that, the ability to just stun opponents with your weapon it's just not anything else in Paladins, and it's something you always have to be conscious of if you're on the other side of a Maldamba.
Yeah, just out of the blue, the random stuns that he can put out there as well. Also add to the fact that his Great Serpent, his ultimate ability, is actually so effective at locking down zone control areas. So if you're thinking this is your moment to push that 99% on the point, or really just lock down that zone, he can get through, get a nice amount of fears off. Again, you can take the resilience cards to sort of deal with that, but generally everyone is running Haven.
And on top of that, Pip coming out for the supports. And Pip is so scary. Just, he is the most, how do I say it?
Jack of all trades,
master of none. And he's such a wild card too, simply because, you know, the ultimate coming out, the mojo, the ability to turn the entire team into chickens if they are grouped up in an area. Super good against teams that like to run frontline, because it doesn't matter what your health pool is. If you get hit, if you get turned into a chicken, you have a 1,500 health pool, and you got to run around as fast as you can and try not to die, because you know whoever has Pip on their team, they're going to be trying to coordinate that. They're going to pop that, turn everyone to chickens, and it's going to be, all right, let's focus on these front lines. They only have 1,500 health. They can't really do anything. and try and finish them off.
They literally can do nothing. No abilities, no barriers can pop up for these guys when they're in that chicken form. So they're going to sort of just jump out of there as fast as they can because they will be very vulnerable. I mean, they're normally running around 6,000 HP. When they've got their barriers up, that blocks up another 3,000 to 1,000 damage, depending on which champion you're really using. And if you manage to lock it down that 5-man chicken bomb, it is just fantastic to see these chickens.
Best feeling ever.
It's like a farm just broke loose in the middle of the match. You just go, oh no, everything's going crazy. And there's just chickens running everywhere. And then everyone's just like, get the chickens.
I'd rather face a chicken than a cassowary.
Oh, definitely.
For those who don't know, cassowaries are the scariest animals alive. I learned they're here in Australia. I mean, everything here kills you, but then they have this giant bird with just talons that try and gut you. I almost feel like that's Abyss in this tournament. Like, Abyss are just going straight for the gut of Avant-Garde.
Well, the thing about them is that cassowaries can also attack from their head as well. They got
Wait,
like a
what?
little beak. Yeah, they got like a little horn on the top
Why
of
do
it.
they have a horn?
They evolved that way.
Please, Darwin, fix this.
Welcome to Australia.
All right, we're into game one. Abyss taking on Avant-Garde. Picks are already out, and Abyss immediately grabbed Cassie, so it's not really the focus on front lines that we had originally thought it would be.
Well, there's a bit of a nerf to them as well in terms of the buff to Rekka. Allows them to really shred those shields a little bit quicker, especially if you get a Shaolin who gets planted. He can actually take a Fernando's shield down in less than a second.
Oh man, Shaolin is going to be interesting to see if we do see it picked up, and it's actually double flank coming out for Avant-Garde. They've gone for the Buck along with the Androxus, so a lot of mobility there. And Buck, we didn't really talk about him too much, but he just has this massive ability to just combo squishy characters. You know, just kind of jumps forward, his ultimate then resets his cooldowns, does double damage, and it's something you have to always think about. Similar to an Eevee who's just going to be running around distracting you, you always have to be conscious of a Buck who can just come and just jump on your face and then just one-shot you.
Yeah, the combo really is that sort of heroic leap into the middle of them. You use your attack on the side there, land down afterwards, and then you follow up with your net, which gives you that little bit of extra damage.
Just a little bit.
Just a little bit, and that's enough to take him out.
Well, there's the front lines coming out now. It's going to be Fernando and Eevee for Abyss. So again, focusing on that mobility with the Eevee. Going to be able to kind of juke around, distract, and then Fernando, that all-around front line. Interesting enough, you know, Fernando is the favorite frontline for most teams. Again, you know, just that all-around fits into any composition, very safe, very reliable. But Makoa has the hook factor that you always have to think about on a map like Frog Isle.
That's right, those hazard points really are difficult to deal with, especially if he manages to lob you off on the side there. And I really do like the Drogos pick as well at the moment. I mean, that guy, using Frog Isles, he's pretty much allowed to move around the entire map freely. There isn't really any overhanging sort of structures that stop him or limit his mobility. So when he uses a thrust, he'll be definitely getting extremely high in the air, giving him a nice vantage point to shoot and take everyone out.
And the lineup for Avant-Garde going to be rounded out. It's going to be Pip coming in for support. Abyss finished off their draft with a Kinessa.
Okay, that's interesting.
And Ying, interesting enough. So no Maldamba just yet. Still going to be relying on the Ying, but Pip also received a buff recently. He's one of the few champions who has that instant burst heal. Obviously, Ying's clones, she can create a lot of them, and it's going to be sporadic healing, but you know, Pip kind of just jumps down and has that instant heal. It's actually been buffed from 1,000 to 1,200, I believe, so a little bit more impactful, along with that ability to almost permanently slow players.
Yeah, and it's really good as well to actually have a reliable heal in this sort of competition, especially if it allows you to do more clutch things. Sometimes those tanks, all they really need to get away is that little bit of extra 200. That means they get another shield off. It gives them buys them that extra second to get their shields to walk away, get themselves out of combat, and start that regeneration process.
I'm really excited for this match. I just want to see, you know, has Avant closed the gap, right? Have they been able to practice? Have they been able to study enough to actually face up against Abyss? They weren't able to take a map off them. They weren't even able to take a point off them in the regular season. Obviously, now with Corland, now with that Eevee's Winter Classic in their belt, they have at least scratched the surface.
Yeah, they want to really actually get there, take it to them, make them bleed. And one of the things we want to talk about as well with Abyss is no one's really been able to challenge them.
Yeah.
We've seen them doing these sort of high-risk, high-mobility team compositions, which work so well with their playstyle. But if the moment that starts to keep being challenged, that's when you force them to start to go towards these other compositions, these other things they might have done, might have prepared, and I can't wait to see if they can actually pull it out in this particular map.
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing too, is how deep are Abyss's strat books? I mean, they've only ever had to run one style. It's been incredibly successful, and they haven't had any issue. But in the game, we're going to be following Lionberg here. Abyss immediately pushing onto this point.
They're going through a flanking side at the moment as well. So Androx is just flying in there with the Neverwalk as well, see if he can find anyone, and he's just going to get back on out of there as soon as he can. The hook goes through, manages to pick someone up there, but I think she's gotten out of there. Meko is going extremely low. First blood has fallen as well, and there's Buck as well, putting out as much damage as he can.
Hades returns another kill, and it's just right now Abyss running through. Actually, no, they've dropped 2. Buck trying to go. Kinessa holding on to this point, going to be knocked back just a little bit. 15% to 3%. Abyss right now in the lead, and you can see Avant trying to push forward.
Yeah, they found themselves in a bit of a tricky situation. I'm surprised Kinessa did so well to hold that point by herself. Typically, she's the one that's in a bit of trouble if they manage to get on a Buck. Did what he could, but wasn't able to finish her off. And now, Avantgarde looking for that opportunity to get in there. Here comes Makoa. He's jumped in deep. He uses his shell spin to get deep. He's used his shell spin now. He's copying a lot of damage at the moment while Fernando's there. He managed to bring him in, but the barrier instantly goes up, and Abyss retreat back to the point.
84% right now for Abyss, still in full control right now. Buck isolated on the side, and Alston has picked up a double kill, but the point's going to be dropped. Abyss take the first one.
Now, Avantgarde need to regroup, find themselves in a choke point here. It's kind of hard to find it in the Frog Isle as well, but Joey G, he just gets eliminated there. A lot of damage coming from that pip, and now this payload is slowly making its way through. There's an ice block on the side for Evie, so she's going to have that down for a while, making herself a little bit more vulnerable. Needs to watch out. There's a little bit of a jump across, instantly using that wormhole loadout to get out of there, to get a little free poke.
Just throwing in the poke right now, and it's just a slow push forward from Abyss. Makoa actually does manage to eliminate Josh. You can see the serve is up, but doesn't manage to get him over the wall, and it is Joey G taking out Josh Kent. Makoa's going to fall as well, and Abyss continuing to just push forward. Avant not able to make a stand at all.
They're slowly losing members, but this is one of the things I like to talk about before. They know how to trade objective control for their champions. It doesn't really matter at the moment if they're losing champions, as long as that payload keeps pushing and they're able to come back. Buck needs to back away from there. He's using his recovery to get as much as he can as well. Mako is back onto the payload now. He's trying to stop that push from happening. He's on half HP, very low. Drogos, what are you doing there? Gets blown up immediately. Evie gets a double kill on the side of that there. Gets hooked in, but is eliminated.
Josh
no, he's still going.
Josh Kent is just able to get to the back line again. This is the style that Abyss love to run. Josh Kent just running around in circles, completely distracting. We saw him just get that perfect flank into the back line. No one was even looking at him. He got 2 kills, set up for a third as well. 2 points quickly for Abyss, still almost a minute and a half on the timer.
And we're talking about Frog Island. It's such a very quick map because it is so small. And one of the big things about it, to have the presence of mind in so much action, to be able to jump into the middle of the team and find that backline, get those double kills, is an amazing feat.
Oh, this is brutal too. Just look at the ultimates right now for Abyss. They've got Eevees, they've got Yings, they've got Kinessas, and they have Fernando's. Only Dragon Punch and Mojo online right now for Avant, but that could come in clutch here. I mean, you really need to be following this Pip. I think he does have the opportunity to make a big impact on this point, but the main issue is Abyss doesn't run the style. They don't run the death ball composition where they're going to be sitting grouped up, so he's going to have to find the perfect opportunity.
Yeah, Drogos will be looking for Fernando as well, but he has his ultimate to get out of there, and then it begins already. There you go, Pip, he's very low, gets out of there. There goes Evie, does a nice sneeze to sort of zone out the rest of the team. Drogos is jumping onto Evie, so he can flank away, but too late for him, he's going to be taken out. Finds Pip as well, that begins a fight there, but unable to get him trying to get out of there. Finds Drogo again, he gets taken out. Colo gone immediately. Pip, he's running away. Another double kill coming on through. He's going crazy.
He's absolutely insane. No one's even looking at him. I haven't seen him fire on a player who is actually looking in his direction.
Yeah.
The wormhole card, he's just making such good use of it. Blinking forward, blinking back. Even right now, he's on the side of Avantgarde, and they're not exactly sure where he's at. It's actually a Ying pushing forward. There's the serve up from Makoa, but the rest of Avant not in position to find the kill. Right now, 99%. It's going to be 3 points for Abyss. Avant can't even make it onto the point.
It's so quick at the moment. It really seems to be Josh Kent at the moment. He's just running around. He's able to miss out on the kill to get Drogos, but did a lot of damage anyway. And it's, as you mentioned, just blinks in, gets the scouts, figures out what Avantgarde is doing, uses the damage, and then once he sees the opportunity, uses that broomstick to get on in there and get the kills.
Ultimates online for Avant right now. They're going to have to hold 1 more point. If this payload goes in, it's going to be map 1 over to Abyss in a very short manner. Cursed arm in the sky, but he just can't find anyone at all.
Yeah, they're just instantly back away from that point as he jumps up there, but not much they can really do. There is an Ancient Rage available for Makoa, so probably going to be using that as the last stand as Abyss begin to make their way towards that objective point. As you can see, we do have Kinessa making his way back into it. Makoa uses his Ancient Rage, gets a full heal. He's absolutely insane at the moment, jumping straight onto the rest of the backline, doing so much damage at that moment. Immunity, Fernando is not going to die anytime soon. He's still going at the moment. Pip is trying to stop the rest of the team from getting into it. Chronic X is falling, but Eevee instantly jumps in, disappears straight away, gets the hook as well, might fall. I don't think so. Note gets out again.
Just barely. Somehow, they're not able to utilize this Makoa's pools and find the kills. Abyss aren't able to get this point. They're actually just going to back off. Really good hold coming out from Avant, mostly on the Makoa there, utilizing that Ancient Rage when he was very low health, getting a huge HP pull along with the big heal. Avant hold on. Still a minute left for Abyss to push forward, though. Mojo's still online. It's actually going to be Hades pushing forward, working on pick right now, and here comes the Mojo trying to get around the corner, but pulled back in, still alive somehow. Does finally manage to get picked up, but it's 4 players on Avant-Garde picked up in the meantime. Abyss just running this game over.
5 players now. Drogus recently respawning, but I don't think he has enough time to really get in there and stop the point from spawning. And there you go. That is game 1 going the way of Abyss. What amazing domination. These guys really know how to play this game and really are aggressive with it.
I mean, we expected, you know, Abyss were the favorites coming into this one, but the cast was over in 5 minutes, Mendez. That was brutal. This is a best of 5, though. Frog Isle is a very short map, and so you can have those moments where you just get a good push onto the point there. We saw actually at the beginning, it was looking okay for Avant-Garde, but then Josh Kent, it's just this Eevee pick has been just so disastrous, I think, for or against Avant in that lineup where we were following Josh Kent around, utilizing the wormhole, you know, teleporting to, you know, all around the map, flying around, and Avant-Garde, they were just never seemed to notice him coming.
And he's just finding those flanks, being in the right areas at the right time. And the reason why Eevee is also so strong is that he's able to actually work as a scout at the same time. He's able to jump in there, see where get that poke damage, but also say, hey, you know what? We've got Pip on this side, we've got Makoa on the other. What we can actually do is then she uses the wormhole back, communicates that to the rest of the team, and that from that point they continue to push and know exactly where everyone is.
I mean, it was a good hold, I think, on the second half coming out for Avant, but the main issue for me seems to be like there's no synergy, right? We actually saw Makoa get a good number of hooks. Fernando got hooked as a chicken, but it's still, he managed to survive for, you know, just 2-3 seconds where he shouldn't have. It doesn't really seem like Avant-Garde are making good communication calls where, hey, I've got him hooked, you know, let's turn on this guy, let's burn him. That's one of the main points of picking Makoa, not even just in this map, is just that hook and serve for your team, because it's how it works is actually it follows your movement. And so if the Makoa hooks someone and actually turns around, that person will end up on the other side of them.
And it just allows them to really focus them down. But I feel it goes just back to Josh Kent. He's been such a menace. He's distracting the rest of the team. They were unable to actually focus on what they need to do when those hooks come through because they're so worried about a random Eevee just blowing them up.
Yeah. We do have some replays here. I'm assuming most of it going to be from Abyss after that match. I mean, just as a team, I mean, we didn't really see any individual mistakes come out from them. The one time they did start to get pressured there was on that final point. Again, Avant-Garde managing to hold on, and then once Abyss realized that, they just stopped. You know, they didn't get picked off one at a time. Obviously, that's very dangerous when your respawn timers are spread out. Those frontliners that had lost a couple DPS then just retreated back to the point, waited for the team to regroup, and then push forward as a unit.
And part of the reason why they were able to hold up defense is because they used a lot of their resources. Everything from that point on ended up being them going straight for using their ultimates to sort of push them off and get that respite. So
heading into map 2 here, it's going to be Jaguar Falls. I mean, I think what I need to see from Avant here is just picking Eevee themselves. They just can't let Josh Kent get it. He's way too good on it. I mean, he made such an impact without really making an impact. I don't know how to describe it. He just kind of looped around, and it was someone that he was just completely ignored.
Well, that's the case, especially when you're so slippery and able to find those positions where you can basically get behind the players, no point of view, and the moment they see him, he's just disappeared, gone. Like a puff of smoke out of the blue. It's just so hard to deal with, especially with the fact that if he does manage to get in using the broomstick as well, is able to blink back afterwards. It's just so hard to deal with.
Well, we are into game 2 here. Jaguar Falls is going to be the map. Avant-Garde down 0-1 right now. And they are going to first pick the Cassie once again, and immediately Abyss pick up that Androxus and Drogos.
So one we'll talk about with the Cassie as well, one of the best all-rounders in terms of the damage. Also one of the more priority picks available in the current meta. Basically, she's just able to dodge roll, get those resets. So if you go for a dodge roll, manage to land an auto attack, it resets your cooldown by roughly about 4 seconds.
4 seconds.
That means you get about 2 seconds in terms of being able to dodge, like in cooldown for dodge roll, which is almost immediate, especially if you manage to look for those shots.
And one of the, Kelsey actually one of the few characters that does have a 100-0 combo. You know, she's able to knock people up with disengage, combo people, and any squishy character. She's not going to 100-0 a Fernando, but that is kind of a good thing here coming out for Avant's lineup. And it looks like they're actually going to pick up the deployable Nightmare as well. Ying and Barrick locked in alongside Makoa.
So Avant-Garde really do need to pick up that master riding skill, make sure they get there immediately to the point and get that set up before Abyss have a chance to stop them from doing that. Once the deployable Nightmare gets going, it is exactly what the name suggests, a deployable Nightmare. We're talking turrets, we're talking illusions that heal each other, especially with the healing station card as well, and the combat healing. Basically, the turrets heal themselves, or whenever Barrick's nearby, he heals them, who heals him. With Ying healing the turret.
Exactly. It's like, what is going on right now? This
so
person's
much.
healing these things that are healing this guy who's also healing himself and healing the other. It's just so much energy. And then also you have the barrier coming out from Barrick as well.
Yeah.
Alongside that, you know, it comes, you know, multiple turrets, multiple illusions.
Yes.
It is good for Abyss, though. One of the strongest counters to the deployable Nightmare is Drogoz. They did pick him up early on in that draft. A lot of that a result of Salvo, you know, able to manage to fire multiple rockets at once.
It really just loads that salvo, thrust up into the air. Once he actually gets that vantage point, he's able to rain down all the rockets and actually knock out everything in one hit. But one of the good counters to that is Makoa. He has his shell shield. He's just able to let that. If he sees a Drogoz just fly up into the air, he's like,
pop the dome shield.
Yeah, that dome shield is coming up immediately and he'll be able to block all the damage.
One thing that's going to be hard for Avant, though, is once again, we have Josh Kent on Eevee. It was picked up pretty late into the draft as well. Again, I think this is going to be a big factor. I would like to see Avant-Garde, you know, get master riding here. You know, it's always dangerous, you know, but being able to post up on a point, very important for that Ying and Barrick combo, just getting the deployable Nightmares down.
Well, Barrick is such a momentum-based champion. Once he gets himself set up and he's able to get the point, he's just unstoppable from there on. You really have to put a lot of resources in just to sort of stop all the turrets from doing their job, doing their work. And as we can see jumping into it, they're moving straight away. Sort of going for a flank here, I feel.
Ooh, actually, Joey G actually just trying to knock people off, pushes forward, drops the shield, but Drogo's already in the sky. First blood down. Chronix managed to find Akmo in the back line, and it's Josh Kent again finding the second kill for Abyss.
Both these teams looking to slay at the moment. Drogo's is trying to chase.
He has no idea.
He's got the figure. He gets taken out there. Cassie then also cops a little bit of damage as well. Eevee's jumped into the mix, but instantly gets on out of there. Cassie extremely low at the moment. The rest of the team is trying to hold on.
And no one even looking at Drogoz in the sky there. Maldamba going to be able to heal him up here. Chronix just flanking around the side right now. You can see all of Abyss's DPS just pushed up as a single unit, just throwing in those pot shots, trying to weaken them down. Nice pull, though, and Maldamba is picked up.
Another kill coming through there for the Drogoz. Manages to find something, so a nice trade coming across. The objective has been captured, though. Avant-Garde had no chance to get on there, no chance to actually set anything up, and Abyss are just running them around the map.
And right now, still as a group, so Avant-Garde in a pretty good position to defend this, but they do need to be careful of that Eevee. You can just see Josh Kent looking for an opportunity, looking for a weakness. All the front line of Abyss on that payload right now. Drogoz Fernando pushing forward, and there comes Josh Kent again. Finally finding the weakness, manages to pick up Corlin. Maldamba on the front line as well, just keeping his team healed up. It's 3 quick kills. Sach falls, Joey falls, and Avant are collapsing.
It's amazing there. Victor also falling out. You do have Cassie back up on the side of Avant-Garde at the moment. Needs to sit back, really wait for the rest of the team to respawn so has something to go onto. And I really dislike what Avant-Garde did there. They should have backed themselves into that initial choke point that Abyss are starting to make their way through now. That would have been the best setup for them to sort of get those turrets down, get those illusions. But now the action continues as well. There's a nice jump away from Eevee, gets in the middle of it there. He gets to the Ice Storm to sort of force everyone off with that zoning. And you can see just so much damage coming through. Avant-Garde trying to hold on. Cassie has fallen. She'll be back soon.
Avant actually do manage to hold. Really good Ice Storm coming out from there, but it's only a matter of time at this point here. You can see Abyss are going to be respawning. Dragon Punch online. Fernando ultimate going to be up soon as well. Accursed Arm online. All these ultimates coming online for Abyss. They have a minute to push this payload forward. It's only feet away from the objective. You can see 42 meters.
This is a much better position for Avant-Garde at the moment. As you can see, we're now in the choke point as well. Managing to get the pick onto the Droxus, but he uses his reversal immediately to get away. And now Drogo, he's jumping in. He's going absolutely insane at the moment. Just jumps in there with that thrust. The extra damage just doing so much. Cassie cannot do anything. Victor is gone as well. There goes Mokoa. Avant-Garde are just falling apart.
And that's going to be it. It's going to be 2 quick points coming out for Abyss. Not even challenged on the point. Avant managed to hold them off for, you know, just a little bit there at the end. You know, giving themselves a breath of life, but once Eevee came in with that Ice Storm, there really wasn't much they were able to do. And again, this time it's not Josh Kin, it's actually Drogos who's really doing all the work for Abyss. We're seeing him take to the skies, just not only apply pressure on players that don't realize he's up in the air and distracting them, but also once he finds some kills, he actually just immediately runs towards that spawn, applies pressure as they come out. They're not even able to mount up and close that gap.
And it really does stop them from getting back onto the objective point. And it's just that start from Abyss, confident, strategic, aggressive, everything that is just encompasses in their play. And it's just fantastic. And the thing is that I feel Avant-Garde is still worried about Josh Ken on that Eevee, and it just seems to be allowing Drogos to run around and get all those extra kills.
And that was the worst part too. Not only do they have to deal with the Eevee, but they have to deal with the Drogos now that's doing the exact same thing. Point's going to be out, and actually very early Dragon Punch coming through. Chronix does manage to take out Joey G, and Josh Ken again, a double kill pushing forward. Abyss already on the point. 4 members of Avant-Garde fallen in just a matter of 5 seconds. It's going to be the last one as well. Akmo trying to get away, but he's got nothing to stop Abyss.
I feel Abyss are really watching the situation as it unfolds. Everyone sort of begins to make their way towards the point. They sit back on the flank, chill out a little bit, and when they start shooting straight, that was a huge salvo and flame split combination coming on through. So much damage coming through from the Drogos there. Managed to get a nice land there, and look at them, they're just stuck on that choke point. They're doing a good job now to remain there. There we go, Drogos finally taken out. Double kill coming through there. Avant-Garde are just sort of holding a little bit better this time with the payload. It's not being pushed as far, as quickly this time.
2 minutes and 20 seconds here, and Avant have to hold this. They can't go down this fast. They haven't found a point. They've barely gotten more than, what did they get, like 6% on a point in the last map? I think that was all we really saw. Mokoa from Avant-Garde here. Sach just trying to stay grouped with this team, but taking a lot of poke damage once again from Chronix, doing such a good job of applying pressure and always making sure these players are not full health.
As well as you can see, Eevee uses the Ice Block there and just trying to make sure it doesn't cop too much damage. Uses the Blink to get on out of there. Instantly Wormhole's back after getting the poke as well. Just so much happening. Fernando uses his barrier, trying to zone everyone away from the point. It's so much happening.
He's in the middle of their base, and they're dealing with other people. This strategy from Abyss is just paying off so well. Fernando gonna have to get out, and actually Avant managing to hold for now. Hook just off the mark, but the pressure is there, and Avant buy themselves at least another couple of seconds.
They're doing it a lot better this time around. Managed to hold off a bit more. They've got that choke point on lockdown. That payload, they really need to sort of walk into a blender to stop it from happening. But Abyss are doing such a great job of using those flanks, getting around, finding an opportunity to get those picks. And once they've done that, they force their way in.
So many ultimates online for Abyss right now, but Ancient Rage and Ying ultimate still up for Avant-Garde here. We're really going to have to see this Ancient Rage be clutch in the moment here. Dragon Punch going to be lined up straight forward. In goes Chronix, and immediately Mokoa picked off. That's the person who needed to stay alive for Avant.
Yeah, that's exactly what you want to do with the Dragon Punch. Take out those tanks, and now he isn't unable to use his Ancient Rage to do anything. Just pushing on through. Holding on that ultimate for too long ended up being the downfall for Avant-Garde.
2-0 from Abyss, and this is going about how that man on your screen expected, I think. The handlebar mustache and all, so much confidence in him.
These guys are just going crazy at the moment, and they said 99.9% sure that they'll be going through to that invitational, and they're definitely delivering.
So you're saying there's a chance still?
There's a chance.
Okay.
Still. There's always a chance.
There always is a chance.
There's always a chance.
Anything could happen.
You need to wait for that fat lady to sing. Once she's there, like at the moment, I feel like she's sort of wants to bellow out with her lungs.
Oh no,
and go crazy.
She's ready. We actually put tape on her mouth because she already started up right now. But just such confidence coming out from Abyss, and you know, map one, I think it was mostly Josh Kent actually. You know, just that Eevee able to loop around the back line. And in game 2, Josh Kent still doing his thing, not as effective, But this time it was Drogos. It was actually Chronix.
Yeah.
And instead of having to worry about the Eevee behind you, now they had to worry about the Drogos in the sky, and we saw him just apply so much pressure, you know, hit that Spitfire, the big explosive combo as well, right after they got the point, just, you know, forcing Avant-Garde to be uncomfortable. They're never in a spot where they're grouped up at full health because members of Abyss are always looping around and just trying to throw out as much damage as possible.
And again, it was because they couldn't really set up that deployable nightmare that we were talking about in the early game.
That was the issue.
You need to get in there, set it up early. That way you have that position to hold. It makes it harder for you to crack the shell of defenses that you can put up. And then from there, you just sort of slowly escort the payload and let it go where you want it to go. But they just never had that opportunity. The flanks coming in from Abyss were too strong. They were able to find those picks so quickly, especially having Drogos as well. It's sort of hard to get that setup that you need to make that initial synergy work.
We do have a couple replays here coming out. Probably, I mean, there was a number of phenomenal plays coming out from Abyss here, and this is actually just the start. You could see, you were mentioning, you need to get set up with that deployable nightmare, and it just didn't happen. The Barrack loops around the side, but immediately picked up by Chronix.
Yeah, as you can see here, there's that little combination coming on through. Managed to get that last kill and get a killing spree off the back there. Amazing play coming from, as you can see, he's just moving around the map. Such good presence of mind to actually get those hits and get them across. And Makoa manages to hold it off there in the situation, but he's just too much power coming across from Abyss.
And Sach, again, was finding some really nice serves, right? He managed to land the hook, swing it around to the rest of his team, but they just weren't on the same page. They weren't able to synergize. And then, you know, at the end of that map there, they could have, or they tried to make a last stand, but
yeah.
Oh, yeah, just watching Josh Kent again.
It's just amazing.
It's unbelievable how he's able to get there. And there was the big Spitfire as well. You could see 72% on the point at the start of that, and there was just no hope for Avant to even come close.
Yeah, they were just like trying to get someone nearby. Sure, Drogos falls there, but that's exactly what we need to do. That was the point. He was just there as a distraction, and they got the objective, and that was so huge.
Also, how did Hades get there? Hades was in the middle of their base as they're sitting at the payload, and they just like, I understand if an Eevee gets to your back line.
Yeah.
That makes sense. I understand if you don't see the Drogos, and this was the game-ending play there. That Dragon Punch at the end, just Sach had Ancient Rage up. He was the one who was gunning to stay alive, just can't get it off in time.
He was unable to use it as well, because they actually lined that up with a Great Serpent from Avdamba. As you can see, he was actually running away in fear in that situation. And they were able just to say, yep, no worries, go straight for the tank, and there's no way for them to actually take that out.
That was my favorite replay at the end there. Oh, man. So, looks like we're going to be moving on here. We have got Game 3 coming up. And on their back foot right now, this is going to be really, really hard for Avant. I mean, I think they got 13% on map 1. Yeah. That was it.
It looks like they're going towards Ice Mines at the moment as well. So really taking advantage of probably going for a map that can actually be really long, actually allow them to defend that point more effectively, because it's just so hard to push on such a long map.
Yeah, I mean, Ice Mines is one of those maps where it's really hard to push. You mentioned it, right? It's most of the map comes down to contesting the main point a lot of times, because for those of you who don't know in Paladins, you can only win on a point capture, not on a defense of a payload. And so a lot of times you'll see one team, even if they go 3-0, they're usually unable to actually push the payload in. It is very difficult, and just with how long Ice Mines is, it's such a long time. Actually, one of the reasons we saw Master Riding the card, or excuse me, the item come back into the meta was because of Ice Mines, because it's such a long distance, you need that bonus movement speed.
Another thing to note as well with Ice Mines, it actually buys a lot of time as well for Avant-Garde to sort of get themselves going, get themselves set up, because you can sort of snowball in those sort of situations with Abyss. They get the extra credits, get those extra cards out quickly, and it allows them to sort of just take those points immediately. And then what you find is Avant-Garde will actually be able to slow it down, hold on, actually catch up with those card purchases.
Yes.
And then once they're able to get there, be able to take out that 4th capture point.
Well, I do like Avant-Garde. Their draft has been switched up. First picking the Eevee. Super important for me here. Josh Kent has just been doing too much on that pick. You can't let it go. Obviously, they do give up the Cassie over to Abyss, but I'd rather deal with the Cassie than with Josh Kent's Eevee at this point.
Yeah, after you can see how well he's been playing, especially because he's been able to play 2 games consecutively with it, he's actually starting to get, you know, he's getting in the feel for it, getting in the motions, knows exactly what he needs to do every single time, and basically forcing him off that champion might put him into an uncomfortable position and be that little advantage that they need to take the points.
We could see Death Ball composition coming out here just because the Grok very good at healing tanks. He has a percentage heal when he itemizes or cards into healing range. Very effective for characters with high health pools. They have a Fernando. We could see a Makoa come out here in conjunction with that.
Yeah, especially when you've got those guys with two well-equipped shields that they can put into play.
Ooh.
Allows them a bit of Shaolin. So this is the new champion that's been coming through. His Heat Haze, causing so many issues for everyone at the moment. When you see 50 of them just appear on the map, it's just like, there's too many Shaolins at the moment, and he's just running around getting all the kills that he wants while he's invisible.
the illusions that come out, kind of just distract you. But the big thing for me with Shaolin, it comes down to planted. That ability is the best in the game at shredding shield. You do so much damage when you pick up Wrecker, which also has been recently buffed, now doing, I believe, 225% bonus damage to shields. And planted is just 1,000 shots, 6 in a row. Shields evaporate.
Yeah, absolutely right there as well. But I also want to note on the side of Abyss, they've managed to pick up the deployable Nightmare. So these guys decided to say, you know what, that's fine if you guys, you couldn't make it work last time because you didn't have such a long map to sort of get yourself set up, put yourselves in the right situation. But now that we've got a much longer map, we're going to use that advantage to use the fact that you guys want to be a bit more delayed with how you want this game to go. And we're going to take it to you and set up early.
And you can see Kinessa going to be the last pick coming out for Abyss. Again, a lot of confidence to bring out Kinessa. Most teams really don't like to run it, again, outside of that Timbermill map, which is obviously has a lot of vantage points, a lot of high spots for her to hide and, take those shots, big, wide open areas on the points. Icemine's not really that kind of map.
Yeah, the thing is, it's got this long little push, but it's a bit of It's hard to explain the Icemine's map. Very long in terms of how you get to
but it curves around a lot.
Exactly, so it's kind of hard for a sniper to really get set up in a good spot. And then as soon as you go to the objective point, you're looking at the control that they have there. It's sort of close range for her. So the moment she decides to put herself in a spot to actually help out while you're going for the objective control aspect, it's going to be hard to get yourself right there in a safe position because the flankers will be coming. I mean, Evie loves eating up Kinessa.
Yes. And right now here, 2 seconds before the beginning of map 3, it's been an incredibly one-sided, dominating affair from Abyss. They are 4 points away from finding themselves in Atlanta, Georgia, in the United States for Hi-Rez Expo January 5th to compete for $150,000 and immediately pressuring onto the point.
Yeah, that grenade goes on through. It seems to be a little bit there, but he immediately gets deleted. That Victor gets taken out by the Cassie. Very nicely played there as well. Next to fall is going to be the Grok. He seems to be out of the thing, and already Abyss just showing
4
again,
kills.
dominating fashion. 4 kills, finding those flanks, getting the kills straight onto the point afterwards, and now
Found
after
him.
Shaolin.
Oh, actually stunned, a little bit of trouble, reversal, still gets him. Alston just pushes forward, and the Cassie, it was first picked by Avant the first 2 games. Heading into game 3, they go for the Eevee instead, and Chronix on the Cassie just does so much work. Again, focusing on isolating out teams and players one at a time.
Yeah, and this is exactly this playstyle. They haven't changed it at all. They haven't been challenged at all by Avantgarde. Abyss really playing well, and Victor's trying to do as much damage as they can, but the objective has been captured, and it seems to be just been one person on the point, while Abyss has been pushing forward.
Look at him.
He's just
They have
behind
no
it.
idea.
They can't see him.
Yes, they have absolutely no idea. Chronix
Oh,
and
wow.
Josh Kidd. I mean, these are the keys. These guys are the keys, I think, to this team.
Yeah.
They're so good at finding these 1v1s, and they never seem to miss either. That's so important. Watch this. All right, he missed.
Okay.
Never mind. Never mind.
Okay, he managed to get the next 2 shots afterwards. Misses another one there. Look at the damage coming out from him there. Gets the slay there. He's managed to get 2 slays on the 3. Triple kill. He's going absolutely crazy at the moment. Rampage indeed. Now, it's a bit hard to take out this particular person. Fernando doing what he can to get away. Jumps behind the shield. Needs to blow it up and get away. It takes him out as well. Sojjade taking it out. They're just pushing the point so quickly. We're talking about this being a long map, but when you're dead, you can't stop anything from happening.
You can't stop anything at all. They could barely make it out of their spot. Look at that Grok. Grok does not even want to exit the spawn right now. Obviously, is going to be waiting for the 2 members of his team to spawn. But I mean, the payload's already in. I mean, he just sat in base, didn't even want to come out. He was trying to wait for his team to spawn, but just didn't recognize the payload was that close. And Abyss,
Just ridiculous.
2 points away now.
I mean, he just absolutely went off. Instantly using those dual draws. No hesitation. Confident aggression. Just exactly what they want to do. Encompassing what they said they are. They know exactly how to play. And it looks like they're going to Atlanta, Georgia.
I mean, has the fat lady saying yet?
I mean, we got her tied up still, so we need to watch out.
So, well, someone needs to go and unrope her and take the tape off her mouth right now, because I think we got about a minute and a half left in this series. It's a 2-0 so far. Abyss just 2 points away. Man, this has just been so good.
Yeah, amazing play across the board there. It's going to be so hard to really pick out who's the best player in this team, because both of them are doing such a good job in being so confident. Here we go. We do have the reveal happening there from Cassie at the moment as the rest of the team goes into it. Fernando trying to zone out this Barrack and Androxus for the time being. He seems to be stuck inside the room by himself at the moment. Somewhere he does not want to be. He's very low at the moment, uses the charge to get into the middle, but is slayed by Soj G in the end there. And now, again, Abyss just making their way straight onto the point. 42% already. These guys so in control.
The team was just so separated. We saw the Fernando, coming up to the point, but he was by himself. He wasn't able to stop anyone, and Abyss really like to run these high mobility compositions.
Oh my
we
God.
just see them kind of, looping around the shield, finding Fernando. It's been so clean and easy for them.
Just look at Cassie just running around the map, doing so well at the moment. Takes another kill on the side, doing so much damage. He seems to be in the middle of 3 people that takes him out immediately. There's the Accursed Arm doing a lot of damage. And Droxus manages to get a double kill there, so he's on his own killing spree at the moment, trying to get this Victor. Uses a reversal to stop any further damage from getting through the grenades there, but he's able to just slowly float down to safety.
Just nice and slowly right now. 2 minutes still left. Avant need to hold right now. Victor does have his barrage available, trying to fight off this Androxus. He does fall, but Akmo gets a return kill. And again, it's just this siege coming out from Chronix. Fernando pushing forward, trying to stop, but a quick dash around, and Fernando's got nothing to do. Lionberry actually does manage to find Chronix, but Joel answers back.
There's just so much happening. Chronix is just an absolute terror. He's just jumping around the map, using those dodge rolls to get in the where he needs to be exactly. Gets the hits off as well, so he's able to just zip around back and forth. So hard to lock down and doing so much. He's been an absolute terror in this map.
And you can see right now, Shaolin just very pushed up by himself. At Avant, actually, this is the first time we've seen them take an aggressive stance against a push. Remember, Ice Mine's one of the hardest maps to push forward. It was pretty easy for Abyss last time. Here comes the ultimate outside of Barrack right now. Alston manages to find Lionberg, though, and Barrack just throwing in these pot shots, trying to find these super mobile champions.
I just love it. Avant-Garde are trying to get them on a choke point, but there's not much happening there. There goes the sneeze coming through from Eevee, but it's going to just slowly zone everyone away, and the payload is still being pushed at the moment. Avant-Garde haven't done anything to curb the aggression from Abyss.
Joel just finds a shot. Alston finds another. Joel coming up with the double kill. Androxus here on the side. Josh Kent just finding the Victor outside of the spawn, and that's going to be it. Abyss going to win the HRO Paladins Regional Championships. They're going to find their way into Atlanta, Georgia, January 5th through 8th to compete for $150,000 against the best Paladins teams in the world.
That was just incredible. Such a dominating fashion at the moment. And it's really going to be hard to see what we can actually pick for our MVP of these matches there. I'm going to have to think about it. I'm looking at Josh Kent, Chronix. What are your feels on that?
Those two were definitely the favorites. I think in map 1, it was Josh Kent. We really noticed the Eevee able to loop around, but I think game 2 on the Drogos, game 3 again on that Cassie, I got to give MVP to Chronix. I think Chronix was so phenomenal throughout the match. He was just the one making all the plays, finding those players, isolating them out, killing them one at a time, outplaying people too, just a couple times 1v2ing.
Yeah, it was incredible as well. I mean, he just managed to get those triple kills. Just so much precision, so much confidence to jump into the middle of those teams, get that damage out immediately, and just be such a boon for the rest of the team.
Well, I mean, Abyss, they came in with a lot of confidence, and they really showed why they were so confident. Not a single point.
99.9%?
Yeah, I'm going to go with the 100.
If you listen carefully, the fat lady's singing at the moment.
I think so. But just a really dominant performance coming out from Abyss. It's really hard to look at the game and find the bright spots for Avant. Obviously, though, this team had been together before, right? These guys from Abyss had been playing competitive shooters for a long time. They had a ton of experience coming in, and this was kind of just a new team formed from Avant-Garde. Actually, I think a couple weeks into the qualifiers.
Exactly. I mean, and one of the things to note as well is like with Avant-Garde, they put themselves together fairly early as they did this for fun. So they did an amazing job to make it this far. And as you said, Abyss, more experience, been together a lot longer, allows them to do a lot more as well in terms of when they do get into some of it. And it's just a matter of Paladins is a new game. There is so much more to explore, so many different strategies that are just out there. It's at that point at the moment where we seem to know about the games like this, and this is how much we know of the game. And it's just all this extra part to explore until someone's figured it out, and then that's when you see the gap start to really get bridged.
And this is the first year of competitive experience, and not even the first year, it's the first few months. I don't expect this to last for too long heading into 2017. I am very excited to see where Paladins kind of evolves in the scene in Australia. Abyss actually, I think, have a really good chance at Hi-Rez Expo, and we're actually going to throw it over to Sandman on stage to talk to the winners.
Thanks, Adonis. Yes, I am up here with Daniel from Double Jump and Dan from Hi-Rez Studios. We're here to present our trophy, our winner's trophy, and of course, congratulate Abyss. But before we do that, Avantgarde, I'd like to invite you gentlemen over to receive your runners-up medals. Guys, come on board. Shake the hand here of the guys. You've worked very hard over the last couple of months, and obviously, with Paladins being such a new game, it's a great achievement to be here on the stage today, and hopefully we'll see more of you gentlemen in the future up here playing with some more Paladins action. Instead of only quite a new team to come into the scene, a group of players who weren't playing together before from all across different games and whatnot. So it's quite an achievement to push all the way through and find themselves as runners-up here today. Ladies and gentlemen, let's invite Abyss Gaming. Gentlemen, come on forward. I'd like to invite you to receive your winners' medals here. Just jump forward in front of me. Really quite an impressive showing from these gentlemen today. And I don't think we could have picked a better team or found a better team to represent us at Hi-Rez Expo coming up in January. A Paladins $150,000 invitational competition up against the best players from across the world. Now, what I might do is I'm going to give this trophy to you gentlemen to present, and I'll hold on to this one. So if we can present the winner's trophy here to Abyss, I'll invite Dan from Hi-Rez Studios to present that one. Certainly have earned it. Ladies and gentlemen, your representatives for Oceania, the Paladins $150,000 invitational. It is Abyss Gaming. Chronic, sir, where are you? Come over here now. You are our MVP from this competition. You picked up this fantastic Razer Black Widow X Chroma keyboard. Thank you very much to Razer. Now, Hades, I'm just going to bring you across here for a moment. Sir, you said 99.9%, and to be fair, I think you were just being humble because that was a thrashing. That extra 0.1%, I think you could have added on there. You guys played very well.
Yeah, some great games. Really happy to be here. Great turnout and had lots of fun.
It was very enjoyable to watch, and hopefully we'll see you guys in a couple of months' time really taking it to the best of the best from across the world in Paladins. All of us will be behind you, so I'm sure we'll see more of you guys. Ladies and gentlemen, one more time, give it up for Abyss Gaming, our Oceania representatives at Hi-Rez Expo in January 2017. Now, that is it here for our Paladins Invitational competition. We're going to take a quick break. We'll come back at 1 p.m. Australian Eastern Daylight Savings Time. It's about 90 minutes from now. It's going to be our best of 5 grand final for the SMITE OPL. It's going to be Pandemonium up against Avantgarde, who is going to go to the SMITE World Cup. When we come back, all of that best of 5 action. We'll see you then.
Isolated on the side, and Alston has picked up a double kill, but the point's going to be dropped. Abyss.
Well, Mako is back onto the payload now. He's trying to stop that push from happening. He's on half HP, very low. Drogos, what are you doing there? Gets blown up immediately. Evie gets a double kill. There goes Evie. Does a nice sneeze to sort of zone out the rest of the team. Drogos is jumping onto Evie so he can flank away, but too late for him. He's going to be taken out. Finds Pip as well. It begins a fight there, but I never get him trying to get out of it. There finds Drogo again. He gets taken out. Colo gone immediately. Pip. He's running away. Another double kill coming.
It's going to be Hades pushing forward, working on Pips right now. And here comes the Mojo trying to get around the corner, but pulled back. It's still alive somehow.
Abyss. What amazing domination. These guys really know how to play.
Trying to knock people off, pushes forward. drops the shield, but Drogo's already in the sky. First blood down. Chronix managed to find Akbo in the back line, and it's Josh gets pushed up as a single unit, just throwing in those pot shots, trying to weaken them down. Nice pull though, and Maldamba is picked up.
Another kill coming through there for the Drogos. Manages to find the Droxus, but he uses the reversal immediately to get away. And now Drogos, he's jumping in. He's going absolutely insane at the moment. Just jumps in there with that thrust. The extra damage just doing so much. Cassie cannot do anything. Victor is gone as well. There goes Mokoa. Avantgarde just falling apart.
And that's going to be it. It's going to be 2 quick points coming out for Abyss. Not even challenged on the point. Avant managed to hold them off for, you know, exact same thing. Point's going to be out. And actually very early Dragon Punch coming through. Chronix does manage to take out Joey G, and Josh Kin again.
Back on the flame, chill it out a little bit. And when they finish straight, that was a huge salvo and flame spin combination coming on through. So much damage coming through from the Drogos there. Managed to get a nice land there. And look at them, they're just stuck on that choke point. They're doing a good job now to remain there. There we go, Drogos finally taken out.
Everyone's
away from the point. It's so much
He's in the middle of their base, and they're dealing with other people. This strategy from Abyss is just paying off so well. Fernando gonna have to get out and out. This Agent Rage be clutch in the moment here. Dragon Punch gonna be lined up straight for it. In goes Chronix, and immediately Makoa picked off. That's the person who needed to stay alive for Avant.
Yeah, that's exactly what you want to do with the Dragon Punch. Take out those tanks, and now he's unable to use his Ancient Rage to do anything. Just pushing on through.
Oh, from Abyss, and this is going about Abyss really like to run these high mobility compositions. You can see them kind of, you know, looping around the shield, finding Fernando. It's been so clean and easy for them.
Just look at Cassie just running around the map, doing so well at the moment. Takes another kill on the side, doing so much damage. It seems to be in the middle, dominating fashion at the moment. And it's really going to be hard to see what we can actually pick for our MVP of these matches there. I'm going to have to think about it. I'm looking at
Dibs for Oceania, the Paladins $150,000 Invitational. It is Abyss Gaming.
Welcome to the realm. My name is Vox, and this is Paladin's Top 5 Plays. It's a lazy vacation on Temple Isle this week. Red team advances, and with 50 seconds left on the payload push, they all want to close this game out quickly and get straight back to the beach. A couple of early kills passed towards our attackers with a shield down for Fernando. They'll be the first of Lazy's casualties in the beginning of this spree. Scout is activated, revealing all enemies. Ruckus has respawned, but Cassie's Wrecker makes quick work of their emitter. Isolated from the team, a rocket from Drogo's out of the sky sends them straight back to base. Whilst the payload has rolled onwards, a timely respawn from the enemy Makoa stops it in its tracks. They make good use of their shield, and whilst Dragon Punch is ready, the enemy Fernando is back in the action and forces Lazy out of the fight. Fernando goes for a hot play of their own with a fireball, bringing Lazy under 400 health, but dodge roll, the onslaught bonus healing off of that is enough to keep Lazy outside, sidestepped and shut down. Cassie now turns her attention to the objective. Barrack, overextended, is punished for poor positioning. Ruckus too, as they are completely oblivious to Cassie. Makoa once again, the sole defender is turned into a pincushion, and that's game. Our next clip is somewhat of a rarity at this point, a throwback to the axe-swinging melee monster of Grover's past. Overtime ticks down low, Gagarenzis takes some hefty poke from Cassie as they rush to save the objective. Finding ambush on the Victor, they pull out the full wombo combo, dealing massive damage. Grog tries to answer with Tempest, but is swept away by Whirlwind. Triple kill for Grover. Danger though close in from both sides, and with only 200 HP left, they chop Drogo's out of the skies. The backslap for Fernando, barely surviving. That's a pentakill payload push in overtime. Down to our third, and it's Cassie once more. Initial shutdown onto Victor aside, there's a long way to push for conversion, and time is running out. It's up to Cuss, Cutie, and Co to clear the area, and catching Eevee out of Ice Block will make that process a whole lot easier. Cuss being poked out low has to dodge roll away from Grok, takes a lot of damage from Chain Lightning, but is able to get a jump onto Drogas as they touch down to recharge their fuel. Now Cuss dodge rolls forwards, proccing bonus damage for Cassie's first shot out of dodge roll. And Bomb King takes a face full of that poke. Grumpy Bomb not quite enough to zone. They are eliminated from behind, and long range revenge onto Grok is so satisfying. In the meantime, however, Eevee has returned to the mix, and they are causing mischief, but distracted by Makoa, they're easy pickings for Cuss. Victor in the distance, equally unaware of the blast shot auto cancel is enough to wipe them out. Massive dodge roll across the map, and Drogo's once again grounded. I'm sorry, Your Majesty, no King Bomb for you. This is a red team revolution. Eevee can test the payload. Slippery in her Ice Block, she is hard to pin down, but pinned down she will be. A fatal arrow for the third time this clip. Red team get the payload conversion, and they hold the ball in their court. Sitting in second is a play from a ragtag bunch of players you might know as District 69, facing a total heavy composition based around point sustain. Skylow smoke onto the objective to provide some confusion. Damage rains down, but it'll take much more than this P-shooter to crack the ironclad triple tank defense. Eevee's looking for an angle, is dredged in by Makoa, is an Ice Block to save, but low health must blink away. Grok takes over, Chain Lightning from behind ripping through the exposed turrets, dismantles them before dipping back out of sight. Eevee with Ice Disguise blinks up into the air. Tempest and Ice Storm come out together. Immortal used by the enemy Fernando, but it's far too early as Sky's Toxic Time Bomb explodes, dealing massive damage to all those grouped up enemies. Immediate team wipe off the back of an incredible coordinated ultimate bait and finish maneuver. This is top level Paladins in action. But there's plenty more where that came from, folks. You might recognize some familiar faces for our number one play. It's the salty run back, a different map, but the same old strategy. Sky Invisible relocates to the rear of the red team as Eevee soars into the Ice Storm, locking everyone down. Now comes the Tempest again, but this time they're ready for it. An on-point healing turtle protected behind 3 layers of shield keeps everybody alive, and now Sky moves in, finds perfect ult positioning, and the damage is huge, but the Immortal from Fernando is safe for this very moment. It is even better. No ally will fall under the watchful gaze of our self-proclaimed knight as red team holds strong through the incredible onslaught of damage. The team play the focus, the ultimate discipline ultimately prevails. That's all we have time for this week, folks. Don't forget to subscribe, and remember that Paladins Open Beta is now available and free to play on Steam. Champions, my name is Vox, and this is Paladins Top 5 Plays. Now, turtling is normally a phrase associated with defense, but as Brute Boy kicks things off, we can see that simply doesn't apply to Makoa. With anchor, cannon, and double kill in hand, they combo with Fernando to slap on the triple. Oh, what's that, Victor? You have a barrage? Well, I have a dredge anchor, chained in and left reeling. That's a quadra kill, hook, line, and sinker. Play number 4 comes in like a wrecking ball, and it's pretty stunning, as the King Bomb Ultra used on defense to kick this whole show off. Fernando is tasty, but Buck Spike's better prey. One buck wild buff shot rips through 2 in an instant. Fernando's just left standing there, like, where did my team go? They will be bumped up for the triple kill, and nothing but devastation is left in Bacon 5-0's wake. It's a rather bombastic defense in third, and Kami is in hot water. Grumpy Bomb out, pay attention to that. Cassie rolls into a fatal misplay and is double stuck for her trouble. Now that earlier Grumpy Bomb in perfect positioning stuns out 3. Fernando prioritizes for the double kill, and Makoa looks like they're gonna be next. What's this? A flash of Quicksilver Blue? Eevee, don't play with those sticky bombs. Another double stick elimination. But he cleans up the remaining 2 enemies for the full house wipe, and Kami's team gets a well-earned breather. It just wouldn't be a top 5 plays without Stolzy sneaking their way into it somewhere, now would it? Our scene is set on Timbermill, Canessa's home turf. Together with Buck, Stolzy relocates onto the rooftop, but Bomb King is waiting and is forced to disengage. Oh, what's that? I spy so Stolzy alone. Victor, get out of here! Headhunter takes them down. Hopping forwards to remain scope, Stolzy searches, finds the angle onto Bomb King with a headshot KO behind the barrel. The Godslayer tolls, but death awaits only you, Androxus. That's the kind of response time and precision that only comes from the best of the best. It's not often now that Barrack clips make their way near the top 5 play selection process, but in recent weeks they've become a rather favored pick, and there's no better player to showcase their skill on Barrack than Bozy. Allies dropping left and right, Bozy takes advantage of a Grumpy Bomb stun to eliminate the enemy Buck. Turret placed in enemy territory, healing station active, Fernando bears down, Androxus moves in for the pincer. Bozy's health is so low, their ultimate is available, but look at the cooldowns. Barricade, turret, healing station, damage mitigation, pah! Who needs a dome shield when you have a blunderbuss? Androxus flees, but no, lands straight on a turret. That's the kind of 2v1 outplay that you remember for the rest of the match. Thank you for watching this episode of Paladin's Top 5 Plays. Don't forget to subscribe and check out Bomb King's new Pumpkin skin, available in-game now. Champions, welcome! This is Vox, and you're watching Paladin's Top 5 Plays. This week to start, we're talking slippery, slithery plays as Maldamba makes their first appearance on the show. Out goes the initial zoning spam, but watch out, over the top comes the enemy Bomb King ultimate challenge. This could be bad, but no! Slither's immunity frames are used to avoid all damage. Buck now eyes up a tasty reptilian slack, but watch out, this snake has bite! And so begins our 1v1 boxing match, but Buck has recovery active, and this forces the Scorpion to disengage to safety with Slither. The second reload stun misses, Maldamba saved by Buck's needs to reload, and they whip Dread Serpent completely. That's a no-no. Buck dives back in, but they're far too low, and our slithery companion with snake in hands returns to the fight in victory. Up next is Bitey with Victor. They attempt to pick off defenders in their spawn, but are poked out and must regenerate out of combat from low HP. That takes some time, of course, and Victor takes a quick jog in the process. They spy a team fight in the distance, grenade goes out, but finds absolutely nothing, but pressure is constantly applied. Fernando is about to fry the allied Makoa alive, but Dredge Anchor into ancient range pulls them out of danger for now. Fernando's shield is peppered, mindful of cooldowns, out goes the frag grenade for massive area damage, which forces out the immortal of the enemy Fernando to keep their team alive. It's only a brief impasse, but meanwhile, red team, Bitey's allies are low on HP. Victor, having no crowd control, is forced to peel with damage. Fernando, now Cassie, go down, riddled with bullets. Pip is tracked and weightless, soaks a frag grenade to the face and is run down with the last of Bitey's magazine. Trogos is a little too greedy and takes a face full of lead. Quadra kill, payload conversion, and team kept alive by this one-man walking army. But for now, that's right, champions, we're back on Timbermill with Kinessa once more. If only fears ambush, they take a very defensive position, which pays off as they catch a free shot onto Androxus, who's out for their blood. Respawning allies take care of the target, but on the objective, the capture rises upwards of 80%. Pressure mines out, Barrage does absolutely nothing. The enemy responds with ancient rage. Cassie moves in to contest, and from up on high, out comes Headhunter. Both Bomb King and Drogos are torn from the realm of the living. Dredge Anchor pulls in a bully, and they barely manage to transport her away. But from the rooftops, revenge rains down. 2 misses, but 2 hits and 2 more kills that at 90% of the enemy turn the tide of battle back around. Makoa seems to be a common theme in high-level play of late, whether in front of or behind the camera. This time, we join Thiel as his teammates attempt a conversion on Jaguar Falls. In comes an enemy Dragon Punch. Thiel makes use of terrain and elevation to completely throw his opponent for a loop. The timer elapsed, and a shamed Drogas is sent packing by an ally. Progress is hindered. Thiel watches for an opportunity. Ying relocates to safety with Dimensional Link, and this is it. Shell spin forward. The enemy Bomb King tries to peel, but with nowhere to run. You dare challenge Makoa. The Ancient punishes their enemy with Anchor in hand. Cassie's arrows barely tickle them, and Thiel presses on. The focus they draw is distracting enough to let the payload roll through. Cassie falls to Victor, and Drogo's in the wrong place at the wrong time, soaks an Anchor Cannibal combo, all to the sinister soundtrack of Fernando's laughter. When it comes down to our top play this week, however, we've got to go out with a bang. Like Rovenix mid-air King Bomb, Ying blown away in an instant, barrack stunned out. Take 2 of these and get back to base. Oh dear, Cassie, you shouldn't pick a fight with this Monarch subject. Rovenix slays them with a puppy bomb and collapses on Drogos from the air. 4 down, only Eevee remains. Dredge, she blinks away, but Rovenix throws both themselves the Winter Witch up and lands the mid-air takedown, an explosive delayed pentakill. You spin those bombs, Rovenix, because you have earned it. Thanks for joining us for episode 8 of Top 5 Plays. To unlock the Onyx Stallion mount skin for free, don't forget to subscribe. Are you ready, champions? Because this week we're getting technical on Paladin's Top 5 Plays. From on high, Plum scopes in on the enemy, but they better have a trick up their sleeve as they meet 3 enemies intent on shutting them down. Headhunter active on Droxus tries to Plum, but no, Plum returns fire and jumps off the building to avoid the AoE damage, landing the killer shot on the way down. 2 shots later, and Cassie 2 bites the dust. In comes the cavalry, but the King Bomb stun doesn't hit, and Transporter takes Plum to safety. Bomb King tries to follow, but is distracted and shut down by Plum and Plum's allies alike. You really shouldn't take your eye off the ball when this Kinessa is out headhunting. We've been seeing a lot more Bomb King recently on Top 5 Plays, and I am loving it. Mystic Gods & Co. make use of Master Riding to set up the loop-de-loop ambush behind enemy lines on ice mines. Fernando's shield leads the charge. Shoulder Poly Bomb scatters everyone, and Grumpy Bomb provides protection, preventing the enemies from regrouping. Bomb King looks for targets. Eevee and Ice Block is the first to fall, caught in the danger zone by Fernando's Fireball. Mystic Gods follow up with Swift Harbor. 3 down in total as Cassie is blasted back to base. Ying out of position, alone, easy triple, says Bomb King, and they send Makoa flying. Mid-air stick connects. Makoa's about to survive, but no, the knockback from the detonation sends them teetering over the edge. Mystic Gods, that was pumpkin spicy. In Paladins, objective play wins games. Keeping your team alive and providing excellent target prioritization is key to this, and that's just what Vex 30 does on Maldamba. With a Gord on the main push, Bomb King is supported with Mending Spirits as they battle out against Drogos. Androxus joins in, the stun misses, and Venomous Pressure forces Androxus to turn tail. However, Drogos is waiting, and a direct rocket impact leaves Vex at slivers of health, but Pip comes to the rescue and chases off the opponents. Our push is about to enter overtime. Vex wastes no seconds in waiting for regen and immediately uses Mending Spirits to keep the all-important frontliners healthy. Disengaged, Sither moves Vex behind allies to safety. Polymorph is used by Pip. Gord out, Barret goes down. Ying, stunned from Maldama's reload, is helpless, but Vex uses Dread Summon to fear Androxus and chases them down to eliminate the enemy's main source of damage. The remainder will fall, and fantastic target prioritization keeps the push rolling. There can be no contest. It's game over, and that's the map. It's always nice to have a reminder that gods among men are indeed mortal, and Stolzy attempts to blow Victor away with a cursed arm but completely fails and wastes the entire ultimate on nothing. Contrary to her icy nature, Eevee attempts to turn the heat, soaks a reversal and backs away. Victor charges in for the 2v1 play, but Stolzy uses that attempt to turn things around whilst outnumbered. Allies have cleared the objective. Eevee's still pesky, but far less so without backup, and is in no position to contest the objective alone. Now it's all about forward zoning, keeping their foe from even setting eyes on the prize. Seeing a fight break out amongst allies, Stolzy charges in, catches out Eevee and Drogos from behind for a swift double kill, and then falls back before the double frontline pressure. All the while, the objective capture ticks up for blue team, and the distraction and zoning that Stolzy provides is crucial to his team's victory. Out of sight, he waits for Eevee and Drogos to respawn. Perfect timing comes into play. Eevee dismounted must fling back to base to survive. Drogos goes up and Stolzy follows. Two enemies so distracted by this flanker that they pay the objective no heed, and still the shots come. Out of ammo, no worries. Stolzy catches the fast spin explosion with reversal, takes down Drogos, resets the cooldown and then a step, and escapes the scene. His zoning play is so pivotal that it's bought enough time for his team to win the objective capture. When I mentioned more Bomb King, by the way, I really wasn't kidding. North America has seriously stepped up their BK play, and Evoli has cemented themselves as one of the best. A cursed arm, bit of a mistake there, Androxus. Here, Cash. Allied Immortal wards off Dragon Punch, which finds nobody in the process, and the team collapses onto the objective to begin to pick off enemies left, right, and center. Ying is stuck, immobilized by Dredge Anchor, and is helpless before this royalty. The enemy Barret rushes into all, but Evoli provides a catch-22 with Poppy and Grumpy alike. Spotting a rocket past their vision, Evoli sets an ambush. They lay damage on the Drogos, take out Barret entirely, and still manage to escape the area with Poppy Bomb. Maldamba is here to provide some support, and Evoli readies himself for the retake play. Out of combat, regeneration now ticking, they begin to scout out the area. No luck on left, well, right it will be. Evoli soars across the sky in a perfect positioning on the enemy's unknowing flank. Grumpy Bomb controls the objective area and funnels the enemy straight into the tunnels. It's the perfect choke point. Give your king a big hug, because here he comes. 3 stacked up, and 3 go down. Evoli drives their team to victory and herds enemies like a shepherd to their deaths. Thank you for watching episode 9 of Paladin's Top 5 Plays. Be sure to subscribe to claim your Onyx Stallion mount skin in-game. Champions, welcome! My name is Vox, and this is Paladin's Top 5 Plays. You know, they say you miss all the shots you don't take, and for most players, this applies to some of the shots they take anyway, but Prince Stanley TV is a different matter. 3 players slain without hesitation, they turn their eyes to Makoa, the turtle flees, Androxus reloads, and still, every shot connects. Somebody stop this God Slayer, they just don't miss, and even look stylish in the process. Sometimes in Paladins, the stars align. Everything goes right, everything goes well, and sometimes your enemies group up for the perfect 4-man evil mojo and triple kill to follow. Victor tries to run and hustles away as fast as their little legs can carry them, but is ultimately cleaned up by Androxus. That will be perfect timing for the opportunistic pit player. Flick shots, trick shots, Cassie has them all. Dredged in no matter, goodbye, Makoa. Skill Ganon is ready for you. They roll out to proc the dodge roll bonus damage, use audio cues to locate Drogos, hit the jump shot and finish them off. Dodge roll, again audio location, Androxus, hi, goodbye, back to base. That's 5 in a row. Pushing backwards in towards the objective capture, barricade is razed to the ground shot by shot. Cassie rolls in, trying to clean up, blast shot, miss, Makoa pulls her in, but the shot following dodge roll resets its cooldown and away to safety she goes. Objective capture, Makoa goes down for the revenge kill. Drogos takes heavy fire and thrust upwards, but is slapped too, taken down for the double kill. Androxus reversal is too late, dodge roll is confusing, then a step upwards and return fire. 173 health remaining, but the jump shot secures the kill, and Skill Ganon's screen shakes in positive elation. There's nothing more satisfying to see in Paladins than a well-executed team play combo. Kicking things off is Barik, who provides zone and healing for the team through the choke point. Victor follows up with a stream of sustained damage, which brings Androxus low. Eevee blinks up and over, finishes the job, and wormholes back as Drogoz charges Dragon Punch. Out they come, eyes on the prize. Makoa goes down, but thrust won't save Drogoz. Round from behind, Eevee cripples out 3, and the Ice Storm down goes. Dome Shield down, drops the barrage, double kill for Barik as they clean up with their shotgun blasts. Victor wastes no time, hustles up the stairs and begins to trap the enemy in their spawn. Sit down and buckle up for our #1 play this week as we're in for a long one. Phoenix on Drogoz respawns and blows their way into the scene with an early kill onto Androxus. Pip takes heavy fire but dishes it out in return, and under 200 HP remaining, Thrust saves their life as Pip's splash damage doesn't connect. Phoenix retreats towards Grok, who places a totem that Fernando subsequently rushes to protect. Time's ticking down for the push, however. Ying, why are you here? Go back to your team. Dimensional Link will make the distance, reuniting her with her allies, and Phoenix and Co dip into the nearby doorway to receive some more totemic goodness. The enemy barrack has advanced, barricade up, not for long, and a massive fire spit round the corner forces everybody away. In goes Grok with Tempest to clean up one, and the defensive hold is broken as blue team rushes through the breach. They reload, time ticks down, Barrack will fall to the loogie damage. Whew, that is a slobbery doom. Drogo's up, Drogo's down, Phoenix power slides on in and cleans up that pesky Pip from earlier with 3 successive shots. They reload, get ready, and throw out a fire spit, which will be absorbed by reversal, but Thrust jukes out the damage, and Androxus flees, but just as they get to base, the rocket takes them down. Cassie's already low, and the allied Victor rips through them to clean them up and send them packing. Payload still in overtime is pushing on in. Phoenix takes a lot of damage and takes the skies. Dragon Punch is channeled and used to KO Pip. That polymorph will do nothing, and the double kill is swift. There's only a few more meters for the payload left to push. Out goes the fire spit, and it blows away all remaining enemies for the win. Thanks for watching episode 10 of Paladin's Top 5 Plays. Subscribe for more videos, tips, tricks, and recaps, and we'll see you in the realm.
Welcome to the SMITE Gauntlet. 10 teams enter and 2 escape to the Super Regionals. Let's recap.
They can't escape the bludgeon damage from Marauder. One more in-hand will do it. Pendy Beyond ready for the kill. There's a Gravity Surge as well onto Nerimar. Nerimar one hit from Death, and Pandacat finally hits a SMITE.
Suntouch gets the grip. We'll see you later, Shaggy Shake.
Thor in the sky right now, but Mike's very low.
Huge
the smash
time
from Pandacat. Stealth already picks up Chaos.
Fire Giant still being pushed down. Kiki gets a couple of kills. Fire Giant's gonna be least picked up, and Envy's able to steal it away. Shaggy Shank just kills fast.
No purification used by Karo, really aggressively not using that defensive relic, and now it's the mid laner for Elevate that's in trouble. I'm a Monster Pop giving them that extra movement speed, but not going to be enough. Shaggy finds a shot.
Great ult! Get the damage off and get away, but Pandacat has the Sanctuary up.
Oceans is going to find him. MLC Stealth picks up Marauder in the back line.
Over the wall comes World Edit, and that'll confirm the kill. There's the 4th World Edit on an absolute tear.
The SMITE hit 3 targets. Mogao hits 3 targets. Smog out, going to keep giving chase to Vote MBK.
Confirms the kill onto Ice Ice Baby,
Sundered.
and Mogao is just sundered into oblivion.
Welcome, hero, to the 2017 SMITE Odyssey. A mysterious evil threatens the battleground of the gods. To defeat it, the gods must embark on a new odyssey, where we'll encounter new, exciting challenges and unearth a myriad of treasures on our way to the 2017 SMITE World Championship. This odyssey will journey through each Pantheon's realm, revealing new quests for you to overcome. By completing the quests or by purchasing items in the odyssey, you'll earn odyssey points and gain levels in the event. Unlock odyssey chest rolls and limited bonus items, and upon reaching odyssey level 21, the ultimate odyssey reward will be yours. The Tier 5 skin, Demon Anubis. Now, Demon Anubis will join the hallowed ranks of Archon Thanatos and Ragnarok Force X Thor. And like those limited skins, Demon Anubis will never be available again once this odyssey ends. Will you answer the call? Will you undertake this perilous journey? Rise, hero. The Odyssey begins.
Gods and goddesses, odd groups left, even groups right, ready on the aggro reset. I'm your guild leader Anuki and this is SMITE, top 5 plays. Red ants plague the jungle, chasing down the few who oppose them in their own territory. Owner the Great Blinket Initiator into the middle of the pack. The portal absorbing it, everyone gathers around, but it's just a water clone left behind. Crushman bringing the heat for the mega rain of fire stun. Illfaker dropping the pitchforks and delivering the hard bomb. It's an explosive area of effect play with one survivor. Leave the fire. This guy certainly did leave the fire, but he hasn't left it far enough behind. Into the maw of the dragon.
Fuel for the fire.
Love is a battlefield.
A dragon must be feared.
It's Shing, and I see no reason why Loki can't support a hunter. The best tackle initiating Phoenix Storm, perfect chain assassination on Toledo, jumps out of it. Best tackle makes him land into the meteors, copycat holding them in place. Desert Fury, full penetration power.
Too easy.
Oh, you look scrumptious.
Jousting it out, the Eagle Dragon Crush launching at assault beyond the tower, but he's only got bricks in. His team's fighting through, gaming music looking weak. Hannibal Wrecker ensuring the bricks in will stay down. No protection from his friends though. The last element dealing with Crush and gaming music, trying to get those final hits in. Hannibal wrecking XYJR, takes a Phoenix shot before jumping onto last element. Crush has to return to dwarf form. Hannibal slaughters last element. We're left with 2 hunters. Who's got whose arrow with whose name on it? It could be anyone's arrow, it could be anyone's name. These two pumped full of adrenaline now. That's 2 abilities XYJR isn't falling for. She's got the bigger hail of arrows, but Hannibal's got more weapons. Pre-purification may stop the stun, but not the damage.
Ha! Sucks for them!
Meanwhile, on the other side of the alternate reality map, Tusky charging forward straight into Virus's face, baits out the freeze and forcing Crossbow with Mega Bulldozer back. Virus zones them from pushing forward with Shards of Ice. It's a good counter and massively decreases the threat of that engagement. Nice looking Glacial Strike, Water Sprout combo, Eris Fidel scrolls, cannons, and it's a rollover! Sesamar caught in the stream, but Eris Fidel is leaving himself caught out. Surfing down the lane, Molly Bideni and Sesamar know who to go for, not quite in range though. The teammates are lagging behind. Flips Molly up and over. What a majestic beast. Virus 178 leaving a little bit of room for Eros to squeeze on by. The two have already cleaned up the Jingti and the wall is up and it's going to be a 3 for 0. Just need to get those club swings to actually hit first. Eros coming back down the lane shows us more water weaving right through the wall. Nice.
Ymir is here. Says the...
Pushing forward into tornadoes. That's a 50 DKP minus for not knowing what the hell they do. Got X-Strength breaks over the wall into Jingwei Julie. Filler sliding tackle power cleave. Throws them into the spirit of the 9 winds. VVSR making sure they didn't go too far. That's a devastating use of magical energy. They used a minimal amount of abilities for a takedown of 3 and they're ignoring the support. Kills the Danik. I like that kind of focus. That's a victory.
Feel my blessing!
You cannot stop justice!
Celebration!
Welcome to the last week of the SMITE Season 3 Fall Split. Let's take a look at this week's action.
Jermaine to the sky, providing the damage, providing the kill. 18 in total for Fantastic.
Taking a bit of free poke, but Dimmy gets a good fearless on 2. Wolfie's in trouble there, forced to purify and sanctuary his way, and Thunder Crash, but the Lawbringer will follow the Lord. Boom from Dimmy. He picks up Wolfie. However, in high-size baby forced down to Rapper as well, and now Amelito's running for his life. His death walking gives chase down. The mystical male should be even enough, but a great stun from Rapper will keep his carry alive.
Fire Giant being aggressed on, it's not guaranteed. And there's going to be the kill. It goes to Randozzo's. The steal away. Nice grab out of the jungle. Panda Cat gets 1. Panda Cat gets 2. Still in the sky, and Chaos gets a 3rd.
That's a huge play from Shattered.
Play.
I mean, saving the game for enemy right now. And yet again, just not enough patience on the side of Stealth's ultimate, though. But nice little blink engage. There is no purification.
That's going to go ahead and just annihilate the members of Envy. No more dual lane as quickly as they came. Venenu finds kill number 3.
Cyclone Spin got Frozen Tornado, the Gust, the knockup. He has nowhere to go. He's trying to Ox from away, but Veneno with a Fatalis gonna secure that kill. That's 4 dead, only skill down alive to defend against all 5 from Allegiance. That's game.
Re-engage from Anderson gets turned on, but then Yankee takes that home here. Think no escape without Reg. Yankee gets a double kill, and Yankee makes them. We're going in for a triple here. Vishim's under pressure here. Strike gets me 3, and I'm looking at Shadow 2. Closes the gap, looking for 4. Yankee, quadra kill. In comes Athena as well, gonna look for the dump down after the root, and it's on to Trickstack, who's forced out again. Zalia now trying to beat down the front line and keep him busy, but Repikas gets a 3-man taunt, followed by the root from underneath. Crush comes through, Repi gets a double kill, it's a triple kill.
World Weaver gonna connect, it's gonna be a
Quadra
surrender?
Kill. Quadra kill for Repikas in the jungle, and Bipolar Method say, get me out.
Gods and goddesses, put on your red shirts, set phases to stun, and let's go boldly into this week's SMITE. Top 5 plays. Starting us off, Cloud Strifer 1 luring Meowsipus into the jungle where Nanyi is. Meowsy leaping over with a defender of Olympus. They're about to be surrounded. Kipper's on approach from behind, watching Nanyi get wrecked. Gives him a shield. 4-man blink cataclysm. Meditate on this one. Pulls back. Shockwave lifts all but Soul. Cloud Strifer from above, sticking some googly eyes on the enemy, making them look silly. Total domination.
And I'm still hungry. Threat defeated.
I am so fluffy!
My star, I don't appreciate a Hunter at the front, but they've scored an opportunity for the drone strike, sending it down the line. It's proving fatal for VMX low kilo. Blue team have lost a significant amount of damage. Red team going for the dive branch, taking the hits. The monk deploying the crowd control. They can't even sprint out of it. That's 2 down. Borgus 99 manages to taunt them both, but there is little they can do alone except maybe pray to Shenron to deliver a Shaolin champion. VMX destroy fears. No evil racks up a double kill. Ups it to a triple kill. There's no front line for you guys now. Meister can't shake him off even with the help of the minions. Overhead smash and sends him to a quadra kill. And Hanno just, there's no mana. There's nothing they can do except become a pentakill.
Finally bought the farm. All in a day's work.
You mad?
Oh, we 1v1ing now. I think this is a first for top 5 plays. All right, let's get it on. Both are low. Lava Lambu just clearing the minions. Minion 34 makes his move, his chest to Loki's knife style. Nice work. Lava with the predicts. Moonlit Waltz bringing Apocalypse into the tower. 180. Wax on, meditate, wax off. That was some next gen Miyagi level stuff.
You can dance if you want to.
It's a crazy day getting pincered by Torpsinator. Mr. Old Guy Sergeant bashes him off, stops the abduction, getting coated in Sunny D as they disengage. Giftworks hanging in the minion line. Mr. Old Guy hoisting Torpsinator back towards his power. Pick up the arrows, please! They're committing to the support. Maybe not ideal. The Scarab's blessing out of it. It's so close and yet an impale too far. Gifts protecting his support. True love right there. Crazy day. Rolling past gets Beetlejuice. Old Guy dashing forward, avoiding some Desert Fury. Backs away from the minions. Gifts jumping over and out of the tail whip. Old Guy is safe. Gifts is going to need all the minion assistance he can get, now being challenged by Astro Barrage, regretting the early use of Sanctuary. Here comes the third shot, let her rip! Rip.
Can feel my strength increasing.
I got my trusty anchor. What more do I need?
Blue team hanging out in their tower. McMahon throwing a load of spears around, gets rooted and grooted into the tower. The wall prevents Sobek from trying any kind of support assistance. Aya's blasting away. JoJo was impaled, winding us into the tectonic rift from behind. Soggy Sandal wants no part of this. He can see the obliteration. Owens Broek becomes the sacrifice. Pimmer from the left, bow and arrow at the ready. JoJo fast on the Desert Fury, doesn't get stunned. Soggy Sandal leaping to Pimmer, getting in JoJo's face, forcing him to back off himself. Pimmer firing at will, engages Sanctuary. Superior grabs and bags again. Soggy Sandal can't cower now. Brutalized onto Ayers. 4 claws is gonna kill him. Soggy Sandal, our little courage, the cowardly dog, bravely jumps into the tower, making JoJo move towards Pimmer, volleys him down. A nice 2-on-4.
On target, as always.
One by one they fall. My blood runs cold.
Such a destructive force.
Gods and goddesses, believe those who are seeking truth, doubt those who find it. My name's Anuki and this is SMITE. Top 5 plays. Old Demon King down, red team gaining a power boost. Yo Garcia trying to be above her physical aggressive blink on and her finds Marcus and jumps against the pillar but then gets put to sleep. Sergey also blinking in, delivers a cataclysm as Yo Garcia giant uppercuts Kez Painify. It's now 3 against 2. The Desert Fury sprayed out, gets a few hits in. Explanate can heal a bit of that backup though. Sergey putting himself between allies and enemies is going to try and draw attention away from Fizzwell. He jumps behind a wall. Sergey sacrifice bomb. Marcos isn't buying it, but perhaps he should have. Chasing Fizzwell gets him killed. Sidesteps Yo Garcia, Explanate 1 hit away. He's cornered himself. Epic Sanctuary reaction speed against the impaled Yo Garcia. Roots and gets in front for the body block, but Fizzwell is light on his feet. He sneaks one spear pass to the left, moves over to the right, making it a double kill. There's no way in hell Yo Garcia is going to be able to one-on-one Fizzwell. All the power cannot be controlled. His best hope is to escape. Instead, Yo Garcia is just going to sleep on the floor. It's a bold strategy, Cotton. Let's see if it pays off for him.
Keep bleeding, love.
Behold my fury. That's a big cluster of red securing the Gold Fury. Blue team's divided, and Flash Edge is getting conquered by Shadow of Olympus. Returns a lot of damage on the exit with Rising Jaguar. Meanwhile, at the back, Knife Blades, Pop Sanctuary, and Panda is low, both getting disintegrated. It's looking advantageous for Blue Team. Shadow's not doing Flash Edge, though. His soul's gonna get mechanically ripped apart. His team's being shoved back, though. Dice Energy trying to block for username found, but the enemy team's rolling high damage numbers. Down Dice goes. Tarantid tries to bail. Sliced right down the middle, sneaking behind the wall. Shadow and Shadow Termination. Username found held out long enough to make divided by 0 easy. Mercy is now just a solo single support against a fully regenerated Thanatos. Shadow of Olympus on the quadra kill, and it takes some time, but this is all too simple of a pentakill. Even though it would be better to go take out a Phoenix, you know the rules. If you're on a quadra, you gotta go for the penta.
You cannot escape!
There was no other outcome.
Together we are strong!
Fire Giants on the menu. Rignite approaching from behind. Julian smashes his face into the belly of Rignite. Bonlord blinking in. Stops Taco God as Rignite deals with Mag. They've taken the Fire Giant away from the whip. Fantastic target prioritization. Taco lands and Rignite branches out to a triple kill.
All right, guys, we did it!
Crush and make mush!
Pexino and Civi prepared an ambush. Civi wear the set through both targets, but it's Dark Breyer who's going to be pulled back. The damage is focused on him. He law breaks out, but Pexino and Suku saved up and pounces into the tower, trying to get one more poke and prod. They get it, but how do they plan to deal with Hestrix? These gals are fast, both with the movement speed buff on, but Pexino's got another enemy cutting them off. Doubles back. Civi takes the Spider Punch. A fabulous Feather Step. This is dangerous. Spirit of the Nine Winds fired. Will it be this or the tower that takes them? It's not going to be the Lightning Dragon Breath. Pexino clears to safety. Praise the minions for taking the tower. Sibby leaps to a cloud. Regenerates a little, jumps out, taking one tower shot. Mr. Stefan Zephyrs, but Sibby can't be slowed. That's